It's 2025, your phone uses AI, but your Excel still runs on VLOOKUP. Yeah, it made me smile not just because it is witty, but because it is so true. In fact, 65% of the users answered that they use VLOOKUP over XLOOKUP. Not because they haven't heard of XLOOKUP. Most people know it exists. They just have not made the switch. So today I am showing you exactly why XLOOKUP is a better choice with simple examples that you can try along. I am using a simple dataset which is attached in the description. You can download and try with me. And I'll also show you two Excel shortcuts during the video. Watch out for them. Let's begin. So here is a simple dataset with employee ID, name, department and location. Let's start with what most of us already know, which is how VLOOKUP works. Let's say if we want to know the department of these two employees, we can use VLOOKUP. This is the lookup value and this is the lookup table. If you want to lock the table reference or the cell reference, you can press F4 as shortcut. It will lock both rows and column. So column index, our department is present in third column, so our column index will be 3. And then we want exact match, so we need to write false. For exact match, you can use 0 as well. So yeah, this works. Then control D down, finance. So IT and finance. So VLOOKUP works for this case. But there are some issues with VLOOKUP. I'll show you some of them here. First one is the column limitation. So your lookup value, which is E007, should always be in the first column of your lookup table. So if let's say I move this column to maybe as second column, your VLOOKUP will break. It doesn't work. So you have to make sure that your lookup value is in the first column of your lookup table. Second problem is, if let's say by mistake you insert a column in between the table, then also it's a problem because your column index doesn't auto update. It's a hard coded number which is 3 here. So now your third column is this one. So it is giving you 0 0 as an output because there is nothing here. It's reading it as 0 0. So this is again problem with VLOOKUP. Third problem is, if you forget to type false, Excel assumes approximate match and may return wrong results. For example, you don't write anything and you just press here. And let's say instead of E0077, it is E0071. Ideally, it should throw an error saying NA, but it will not because for this case, VLOOKUP is doing an approximate match. And it is giving for VLOOKUP, the approximate match for E0071 is E007 and hence the output is IT only. Fourth problem with VLOOKUP is, if there is no match, it throws any. But if you want a meaningful output or you want something else, you need to wrap it inside either if error or if any. So let's say I don't want any as an output. I want maybe not found as an output. So if error value, and let's say if there is no match, I want this to be an output. Now let's say instead of E007, I would say E0071. So to get this not found, I had to use if error. You can use if any also, but we have to wrap VLOOKUP inside another function, either if error or if any. So this is again one of the rigidity that VLOOKUP has. Now let's see how XLOOKUP solves each of this problem and adds more power. Let me start with the basic formula. XLOOKUP, we want to look up E007 and E007 is present in this array. Again, I pressed F4 to lock the reference. Third argument is return array. So our department is present in this array. Again, I am pressing F4 to lock our return array. And the other argument you can see are in square bracket. So we can, as of now, we can ignore them. And let's say we press enter. So yeah, XLOOKUP works exactly like VLOOKUP. There is no problem. So what are the benefits? For XLOOKUP, your employee ID can be in any column. It can be in the second column also. Let's say if I copy paste our employee ID here. In that case also XLOOKUP is working, but you can see your VLOOKUP is not working, right? So it's not necessary that you have to make sure that your employee ID is in the first column, right? So this is the first advantage. Second is, if by mistake you insert a column in between the table, we saw a VLOOKUP was not performing well, but let's see what happens with XLOOKUP. See, so your VLOOKUP is showing an error, 0 as an output, but XLOOKUP is working. Why? Because our reference here is our return array is defined, which is not moving. In that case, in VLOOKUP case, column index number was hard coded, and if we insert any column, it was getting fixed. So in third column, it is now 0, and hence the error. Third benefit with XLOOKUP is you don't have to put false or true for the exact match, because for XLOOKUP the default is exact match, and if you want approximate match, you can define the match mode. In match mode there are options to define approximate match, but by default XLOOKUP calculates approximate exact match. Fourth benefit with XLOOKUP is, let's say we want not found as an output instead of NA if it does not find an exact match for employee ID. So we can define that not found here as part of XLOOKUP argument itself. We don't have to wrap around if error or if NA as we did for VLOOKUP. So let's see if we say E0071. So yeah, not found. We don't have to use if error of if NA for that case. Fifth benefit with XLOOKUP is it can return both department and location by using only XLOOKUP once, because if we define our array as these two columns, now our output will be both department and location. We don't have to write two XLOOKUP, one for department and one for location. Yeah, so it can return array as well instead of just one cell response. And the best part is it can replace HLOOKUP as well, because for XLOOKUP it is not necessary that your XLOOKUP should be in a vertical format or in a horizontal format. It works for both horizontal and vertical both. And the other shortcut that I wanted to tell you in the video is, let's say you want to edit this formula. So if you're using mouse, you have to double click to activate this cell. But let's say you want to avoid using mouse. In that case, you may have to press F2 or function plus F2 to activate this cell, and now you can use arrow or navigation buttons to edit the formula. These are the advantage of XLOOKUP. So if you are still using VLOOKUP in 2025, I hope this helped nudge you to finally make the switch, because I believe XLOOKUP is more flexible, it is less prone to error. So try using both VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP side by side on your own data, just like we did here. I bet you will feel the difference right away. And yeah, let me know in the comments, are you still using VLOOKUP or have you already switched? Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.